All right, Shalom, giving all praises, honor, and glory to our power Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shah, Bahasham Rachak, Kodash, double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect of the tabernacles of David scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, whomever you may be, wherever you may be. Shalom, Yeshua, Shalom. All right, Acts chapter 16, and it says, the Macedonian vision, all right? So verse 1 says, then came he to Derbe and Lystra, all right? As a matter of fact, before we even move forward, let's give a little pinpoint location if we can, so we know what we're dealing with, or not what, but where we are, geographically. All right. So wait, it says place in where there's a Lystra, a place in Asia Minor. Okay, a city in the eastern part of the Great Plain of Lycaonia. Okay, and so we can also pull up Derbe. And it says also place in Asia Minor. Tanner of skin, covered with skin, says a city of Lycaonia on the confines of Isauria. All right, so let's pull up. I was going to pull up Lycaonia first, but let's get this. Isauria in ancient geography is a rugged, isolated district in the interior of Asia Minor of very different extent at different periods. All right, so Asia Minor, this is the area of modern day Turkey, is blurry. Yeah, called Asia. Even when you listen to some of these newscasters, like the foreign ones, not this American nonsense, okay? Because America will call it Middle East, but some of these, foreign news stations, you actually hear them say Asia, all right? When dealing with certain areas where American news would have said Middle East, they'll say Asia, okay? Because that's what it's truly called, all right? It's not the Chinese or the Japanese people, all right? It's the landmass over there. Not the whole entire landmass, but a particular landmass. All right. So you see how Soria trying to find out something, pull up something that was good. I mean, pretty much it's like we said, modern day Turkey. All right. Asia Minor, Turkey, Anatolia. All right. See the Mediterranean, Cyprus, Cilicia, Pamphylia, Pisidia, Lycia, Lydia, Phrygia. All right. And the area we're dealing with right now, all right, or in a sense, is the area of Galatia, all right, which covers, we'll probably say like a middle portion here. And we're going to start to, as we move forward, he's going to start to move more west, all right, and hit some of these areas, Troas, and so on and so forth, okay? So we can go back. Actually, that doggone, that was a good map right there. But I guess backing up now. I can't stop it. There was a decent map that I just saw. It was at the bottom left. This is also a good one too. So you see the general area here. And like I said, look, there's Galatia. Well, Galatia will be more so this center portion here. All right. On the map. But you can pull up your own maps. We just like to generalize these locations. All right. Show you that these are real places. These are real travels. All right. Where, these different men of ancient times went. And as of right now, we're following in particular the path of Saul. As a matter of fact, since we're here. All right, located in the Roman province of Galatia, see, in the ancient region of Lycaonia, in south central Asia Minor. All right on point with what we mentioned. See if we can pull it up, though. Oh, there we go. There's that usual map that I have. So you see where Galatia is: Antioch, Iconium, Derbe, Lystra. All right. So there you go. So now it's even more generalized for you. All right. And what was the other place? Yeah, Lystra, which we just saw on the map there. I'll pull it back up in case you missed it. So you can see the general location between these cities here. And keep in mind that these these people that he was going to were other Israelites. All right. Lystra was a city in the Roman province of Galatia in what is now Turkey. All right. Anatolia, Asia Minor, that is mentioned in the New Testament. It was a market town in the Lycaonia district and was home to a diverse population of Romans, Greeks, Jews, and native Lycaonians. Very, very important. And you have to understand also as we move forward, remember Maccabees where Alexander conquered lands. So you're going to have, even though it's not mentioning other people, we're dealing with Israelites. You got to understand that in these areas that Israelites live, they were in other people's territories, all right, living there amongst these people, all right, had synagogues and, church gatherings and all these different things. And they were also, of course, Israelites that were going off worshiping these pantheon of the gods and things of that nature. But the point is, you have other nations of people that were also, somewhat, they were Hellenized, all right? Though we're not going into it, but you have to understand this is, after the Greeks transitioning to the Romans, okay? And of course there was a particular gap, but I'm just saying, the Greeks and the Romans are the same people, all right? So you have other nations of people that were probably, Hellenized as well, but we're dealing with the Israelites. That's what matters. And so that's I'm glad it came up. It says like the Lycaonia district and was home to a diverse population of Romans, which were Edomites, of Greeks, which of course the original Greeks weren't Edomites, but in now these are Edomites, Jews, which are the southern kingdom, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, the so-called Negroes, West Indians, and Haitians, and native Lycaonians, all right, and whoever those people may be, were probably under some form of Hellenization or worshiping whatever they worship. You see? So the important thing there is, like I said, Jews that are scattered, all right, under these different territories where heathens lived. Okay. So now we go back and kick off verse 1 again. Then came he to Derbe and Lystra, and behold, a certain disciple was there named Timotheus. All right. It says, I forgot what his name means. I know Theos means God. Timo. If I pull it up. I think it was the other one. I think that's Theos. Yeah. Timo. A value by which the price is fixed, price for sale, price paid, honor which belongs or is shown to one, of the honor which one has by reason of rank and state of office which he holds, deference, reverence. I saw some, yeah, it's another word. Went to Tino. Paid to recompense, to pay penalties, suffer punishment. All right, interesting there. All right, but anyways, Timotheus, okay, says the son of a certain woman, which was a Jewess, all right, an Israelite woman, okay, and believed. So she was a faithful believer. Excuse me. But his father was a Greek, all right, meaning what? This was not an Edomite, okay? When it says his father was a Greek, this was a Hellenized Israelite. Once again, that's why that history of Maccabees is so important, all right? When you go deep into these chapters, you had Israelites that stuck to the Holy Covenant. Under Mattathias, it transitioned to his sons, mainly Judas, but, eventually Judas, he perished in battle and so on and so forth. But that was the formation of the Hasmonean dynasty. So when you get into the New Testament, the Israelites that know the customs and laws and things of that nature, even those wicked Pharisees that were over those Israelites, those are a product of those Israelites that kept to the covenant. But then also you had Israelites who forsook the Holy Covenant, who stopped circumcising their children, stopped doing the customs. They went and they got licensed to do after the heathen and built a gymnasium in Jerusalem of all places. All right, just demons. Okay, so you had wicked Israelites who forsook the Holy Covenant, and in the New Testament, right, in all these places here, you have the product of those individuals that did not stick to the customs. So their children through history did not grow up knowing the law, just like us, all right? We grew up here. I mean, I would just, because I'm here in America, so I just say America, all right? There's many things that we grew up knowing, thinking that those things are right, but that's the customs of what we learned from our parents and them before us, right? Not knowing that we were Israelites and so on and so forth. So it's no different back then. You had Israelites that forsook the Holy Covenant, and then the children that were, through time and age, descendants, all right, they're still Israelites, but they were Israelites who don't know any of their ways because their forefathers and foremothers forsook the way and grew up doing things that the heathens do. All right, making covenants with the heathen, worshiping their false gods, eating their abominable foods and things of that nature. All right, doing the when in Rome, do what the Romans do type thing. So in the New Testament, you have Israelites who, this is why you see a lot of these Greek and Roman gods mentioned, because they were into those things. All right, they were into different ways. They were making up gods. Then they had the what was the ascription to the unknown God, and Paul broke that down and things of that nature. So things get really tense, all right, when you're dealing with these Israelites who did not grow up in the customs, in the ways, okay? So it says, the son of a certain woman, which was a Jewess and believed, but his father was a Greek. So this father was an Israelite, all right, but Greek meaning he was steeped very deeply into the heathenistic way, all right? It says a Greek, either by nationality, whether a native of the mainland or of the Greek islands or colonies. Also says in a wider sense, the name embraces all nations, not Jews, that made the language, customs, and learning of the Greeks their own. Yeah, what we just mentioned, man. You have more than just Israelites who were Hellenized, all right? The primary reference is to a difference of religion and worship, okay? And that's also what was going on, particularly with the faithful believers Israelites, right? That's why they stirred up so much trouble, because their free worship, what we wanted to worship was allowed. All right, you just had to be tributary and be under Roman subjection, and these other, how it is. All right, so it just says this country, Southern Europe. So it says which was, as a matter of fact, let me see real quick what what other translations read, just out of interest. So this one also says his father. Right, his mother was a Jewish believer, but his father was a Greek. All right, and so people will be thrown off by this, because you got to think, man, a woman who knows who she is, all right, probably knows about the Lord and Savior, all right, knows the right way to do things. Why on earth would she be married to a heathen man? It don't make sense, man. Okay, because she never would be. An Israelite woman who knows who she is and her people and all these things, she would never be with a heathen man, okay? No matter what nation he's from. All right, a believer in the Messiah, you see. However, his father was a Greek, all right? Meaning what? All right, he was a Hellenized Jew, for lack of better words, all right? So we understand what we're dealing with. So we know we're not talking about an Edomite man, and that Timotheus is not an Edomite, okay? Because we know the seed is according to the father. All right. So if his father was an Edomite, he'd be an Edomite. And that will make him a part of the faith, which is impossible according to the scriptures. So that will be contradictory. And the Bible doesn't contradict itself. You just have to go into the understanding of the thing. So we're dealing with Israelites here, but we're dealing with Israelites here, but his father was pretty much a Hellenized Israelite. So he didn't believe in what his mother believed, right? He didn't believe in Yahushua. He didn't believe in, the right way, in other words. Okay, he was probably following out the Greekish customs, which of course he was, because being that the history, those that left themselves uncircumcised, all right, so if he was a Hellenized Jew or a Greekish type of Jew, he wouldn't be circumcised, which is also why his son Timothy was not circumcised, because he wasn't following our customs, even though he was an Israelite. He probably didn't grow up knowing the customs, or maybe he heard about it, but just like today, Israelites hear about it, but they're still hard-headed and rebellious. They're like, man, I don't know what you're talking about. All right, I'm a Greek, okay? So it says, which was well reported, talking about Timotheus, of by the brethren that were at Lystra and Iconium. It says, him will Paul have to go forth with him, and took and circumcised him because of the Jews which were in those quarters. All right. And if he was going to travel with him, he was going to have to enter into, synagogues and things of that nature. And that was going to be a problem with him being, uncircumcised because of his father, all right, who was a non-believer. He was a Jew, but he was a non-believer. It says, so Paul wanted him to join. Timothy was well thought of by the believers in Lystra and Iconium. So Paul wanted him to join them on their journey in deference to the Jews of the area. All right. I believe that's it's not a bad word there. I think I looked this up before. Like kind of respect or, something. Let me see. I'm trying to get it pulled up here. Yeah, here we go. Humble, submission, and respect. Yeah, see? Oh, deference or deference. I should have pronounced it. Anyways, it says to the Jews of the area, right? So and it clearly says Jews of the area, not foreigners, heathens or whatever, right? Jews of the area. It says he arranged for Timothy to be circumcised before they left, for everyone knew that his father was a Greek. Meaning what? It just clearly said Jews of the area. So you mean all these Jews, all these Israelites, and they're going to be kicking it with one Edomite or whatever. They don't line up, okay? This wasn't Hellenized Israelite his father was, okay? Everybody was full aware of that, okay? Everybody was full aware of Timothy, but knew that Timothy was also a faithful believer like his mother, the Jews, all right? It was his father that believed in the Greekish way, which means being the head of the household, the mother would have no say-so over whether or not her son would be circumcised. You see, it's different now. Okay, a woman got all kinds of say-so. All right, in the hospital, she's able to say my baby. All right, able to split up, and she's going to take custody by like automatically, damn near. Okay, it's different today, but look who's in power. All right, I mean, of course, who was in power back then, but look at it now. All right, the point I'm making from that. All right, so everybody knew that Timothy, was a faithful believer. All right, and he was obviously well known for probably putting in work or however the case may be. All right, which is why he was so known amongst the believers. But he was also uncircumcised. Why? Because his father was an unbelieving Jew. All right, or Greek Jew, however you want to call it, who was himself pretty darn sure uncircumcised. And whoever before him was probably a non-believing Jew who was also uncircumcised, which is why Timothy's father was uncircumcised, which dates you back to why I was saying that the first Maccabees history is so important, man, because these are descendants. They're all Israelites, but there's two avenues there. All right, those that stuck to the custom, those that forsook the holy custom. All right. So it says, then they went from town to town, instructing the believers to follow the decisions made by the apostles and elders in Jerusalem. But yeah, beautiful. Going back to, what was it, the last chapter? Let me get back to the KJV real quick. In 15, when you had the believers or so-called believers that were coming down on those Hellenized Israelites that were new converts to the faith and talking about, I mean, hit that, keeping the law so heavily and so on and so forth. And the apostles said, no, we didn't send those guys. All right. I want to say that was the last chapter. It says, no, we didn't send those guys. And they wrote a letter, I believe, until, here it is right here, I believe. Yeah, Acts 15 and 22. Then pleased it the apostles and elders with the whole church to send chosen men, all right, for them to send chosen men, because those men before were not sent by them with the words that they were trying to give to these, pretty much these new converts here. All right, and trying to push the law so heavily on them. You gotta do this, gotta do that, and blah, blah, blah. The apostle says, no, hold on. This is what we're gonna, this is what you need to keep to as a basic thing in order for you to move forward in this truth. Right, in this ministry, it says to send chosen men of their own company to Antioch with Paul and Barnabas, namely Judas, surnamed Barsabbas, and Silas, chief men among the brethren. And they wrote letters by them after this manner. The apostles and elders and brethren send greeting unto the brethren which are of the Gentiles in Antioch and Syria and Cilicia. For as much as we have heard that certain which went out from us have troubled you with words, you see, those that came, unto you, even though we didn't send them, all right? And they troubled you with words, subverting your souls, saying, ye must be circumcised, you see, and keep the law, to whom we gave no such commandment. It seemed good unto us, being assembled with one accord, to send chosen men unto you with our beloved Barnabas and Paul, men that have hazarded their lives for the name of the Lord Hamashiach Yahushua. We have sent therefore Judas and Silas, who shall also tell you the same things by mouth. For it seemed good to the Holy Spirit and unto us to lay upon you no greater burden than these necessary things, Here's the thing that's going to be important as we go back to the other chapter, right? Because this is what they're going to be going around and making sure that they lay down, all right, as they move. That ye abstain from meats offered to idols, and from blood, and from things strangled, and from fornication, from which if ye keep yourselves, ye shall do well, fare ye well. All right. So now if we go back to Acts 16, and it says, and as they went through the cities, they delivered them the decrees for to keep that were ordained of the apostles and elders which were at Jerusalem. You see, that is what those were the words that were sent. Okay. And these are the words that they're spreading amongst these body of believers as they go around, all right, to the different, churches, the gatherings of these Israelites, right, to the synagogues, right, which you have to go to the synagogues, right. If I'm correct, it was like once a week you would go. As a matter of fact, there's another portion, I can't remember what it was. I believe I read it in John. When you look into a particular word where it talked about the believers coming together like 3 times a week, like every other day or something like that. I know it was once on the Sabbath day, of course. That was the main day to go and hear the word and so on and so forth. And then there were 2 other times in the week. All right. Would you see these modern day churches try to copy that? All right. They'll go to church on Sunday. They'll hold a service on Wednesday and call it Bible study, right? And then they'll do a service on Friday and then they'll do it again on Sunday. Okay. And they're going off. But, those things are just, copy and paste, but it's not according to the truth. But let's continue. So it says, and verse 5 says, and so were the churches established in the faith and increased in number daily. Why? Because you stuck to the words that the apostles gave. All right. This is what these new believers need to have on their plate and focus on. And then they'll learn and grow more. All right. And more things open up to them. All right. It's like we always talk about, even in modern days, man. All right. You can't just throw the law in somebody's face. Like it's a guy up there who's actually genuine and sincere. Like, man, I never heard this before. All right. I really believe this. I want to learn more. But he got, I don't know. He got a cigarette in his ear. Right. If he's truly sincere and the Spirit is bringing him into the ministry, guess what? Eventually he's going to come to the point and realize, man, I'm going off by smoking these cigarettes. I'm just using my lungs for a filter. And this is going off. It may not be like a law written for it, but he's going to understand and realize that this ain't right, all right, according to the Spirit. All right, the Spirit's going to deal with that and individual, and the Spirit's going to deal with that situation, okay? But just trying to throw it in front of a person's face and like, because they may not be fully persuaded yet, all right? And that's where you go into the scriptures at to try to put, persuade that person to come to the truth, all right? But once they're fully persuaded, certain things are going to start to be weeded out over time. And those men that came from Jerusalem to those in Antioch were laying things heavy on them, and they weren't going to be able to bear, especially being their, given their backgrounds, their upbringing. Okay, so the apostles simplified things and put it in order, in proper order. All right, like this is what they need to focus on in order to move forward. And guess what? What did it just say? Let's read it again. And so were the churches established in the faith, you see, and increased in number daily. See, and all stems back to that letter that the heads, all right, the apostles got together and wrote, all right, to send, out by decree. So it says, now when they had gone throughout Phrygia and the region of Galatia, all right, so they travel, different cities, all right, it says, and were forbidden of the Holy Spirit to preach the word in Asia, all right. Now, this is very important because this is going to come up again, all right. It says by the Holy Spirit to preach. It says they were forbidden of the Holy Spirit to preach the word in Asia. Why? Because they had, other work that needed to be done elsewhere. All right. So it says but remember that. So it says after they were come to Mysia, they essayed or attempted to go into Bithynia, but the Spirit suffered them not. That's twice. All right. Now, before we move on, let's get a couple of these areas to get out, general, location geographically. See if we can pull that up. All right. A region in Asia Minor, land of beech trees, a province of Asia Minor on the shore of the Aegean Sea. All right. So it says between Lydia and Pompontus, it included the cities of Pergamos, Troas, and Assos. So this is west of where they were. All right. Because it mentioned Troas, the Aegean. Let's see if we can pull up let's do Maji. If we need, we'll come back and pull up another one of those words there. Oh, here we go. Yep, perfect. I probably should just grab that map. All right, so now they're moving west, basically northwest. Okay, from where they were. I hope this map, there you go, comes up clear. So Cyprus. Now, if you remember, Paul traveled from on his first missionary mission, anyways, from Antioch by the Orontes to Cyprus up to Pamphylia, Cilicia, in these different areas here. All right, then he's looping back around, so he's traveling back through these areas of Galatia now. All right, visiting these cities. Okay, now you hear Mysia, Troad, which is Troas. All right, so you're going to start to hear about him moving more west. Right, so you see what we're dealing with. Okay. And that should, if I'm correct, that is the Aegean. I think my screen got stuck. Okay. That is the Aegean right there to the west of Mysia and Troas. Okay. Or was it said on the screen? Troad. I don't know if we'll be able to find a map that has the Aegean up there, which is why I said we'll probably come back. Give my map a second. It's getting stuck again. Okay. What does that say? It's blurry. Okay, it says Mera Aegeum, all right, or Aegeum, however you want to. So, yeah. So, this is what we'll do. We'll see if we can get a non-blurry. And that's a good one right there, showing you Mysia, however you pronounce it, and Troas, okay? I get blew up on the wrong thing. Well, just bear with it. I was trying to blow this one up. There you go. All right, so I want to show you the Aegean and hopefully, not Asia Minor, get a bigger picture of well, actually that was a big, but I mean more. Yeah, there we go. You see, now this is modern day, but this is where we are from modern day Turkey. This area here, modern day Turkey. All right, you see Istanbul, all of that. Okay, the Aegean, and then you're going to eventually hear about him moving towards what? Athens, Greece. Okay, it's Thessalonica. All right, see if we can find an ancient map. Possibly. There's a good one. Look, you see the Aegean Sea is plastered all over. And what's it right there? Turkey, Aegean Sea. All right, same thing. Okay, so he left from Galatia, all right, moving northwestward, all right, off the Aegean, all right. First to Mysia, and then to Troas, all right. And then eventually he's going to move along across here to Athens, okay. So there you go. It says the shore of the Aegean Sea between Lydia and Propontis, and it included the cities of Pergamos, Troas, and Assos. All right, so going back, it says, let's go back real quick. Now it says, now when they had gone throughout Phrygia and the region of Galatia and were forbidden of the Holy Spirit to preach the word in Asia, after they were come to Messiah, they essayed, meaning attempted, to go into Bithynia, but the Spirit suffered them not. Okay? And we could pull Bithynia up. I know I get nitpicky, and if this is boring, and then, I'm sorry, but it's, I'm just, we're trying to keep it simple, but also show you how important that your maps are. It says a Roman province in Asia Minor bounded by the Euxine Sea, the Propontis, Mysia, Phrygia, Galatia, and Paphlagonia. Okay. All right, Phrygia. You see that? It's really okay, Bithynia, you see, at the top, at the north. Okay. And there's Galatia. You see Phrygia. All right. So we know what we're dealing with. And it says, and after they were come to Messiah, they essayed to go into Bithynia, but the Spirit suffered them not. And that's twice where it says the Spirit suffered them not. It stopped them. All right. Why? Because they had other work that they needed to do elsewhere. And as we move on, it's going to talk about, a dream. I want to go get this first. John 3:8, the wind bloweth where it listeth, and thou hearest the sound thereof, but canst not tell whence it cometh and whither it goeth. So is everyone that is born of the Spirit. And this is exactly what you have happening right now to these men, as they're traveling. The Spirit is stopping them from going to a certain place and sending them elsewhere. Okay, because there's work that need to be done, and we always mention it, like in these modern day times when Jacob's trouble is happening. You may be a pilgrim in the earth, move from here to there, and you're going to have you have to believe it because it's going to happen. All right, well, willing, you're going to have angels that are going to appear to you and tell you to not do this or do this or do that or whatever. Or even if an angel doesn't come to you, you're going to hear some kind of small still voice in you. All right, guiding you the proper way. All right, and that's the Holy Spirit, like it's doing with these men. The Spirit is telling them, all right, don't go that way, go this way. And we're going to have to believe that the Lord is going to guide us in the times of Jacob's trouble in the same way it's dealing with these men now. No, though we're talking about preaching and teaching the gospel with these men, but in our times, okay, which even there on that level, all right, like when we set up camps, okay, it's the Spirit that's telling us to go and set up camp there. All right, we may not know it, but it's the Spirit that's sending us to whatever location we go to. We decide to switch up locations. Excuse me. It's the Spirit that's guiding us to that location. Okay. And but to close off the other thought, in Jacob's trouble, the Spirit is going to be guiding certain individuals to go this way and that way, not this way, and so on and so forth. All right. But that's the point I want to make. Let's read it again. The wind bloweth where it listeth, and thou hearest the sound thereof, but canst not tell whence it cometh, and whither it goeth. So is everyone that is born of the Spirit. And this is what's happening to these men right now. The Spirit has now twice stopped them from going to a certain location and instead sending them in an opposite direction. It says, and they, passing by Messiah, came down to Troas. And we just saw where Troas is, right? So you understand when it says they came down, all right, to Troas. Really, they didn't come down too far. It's just given the geographical location, all right, from Messiah to Troas, it would be southwest, okay? So we just showed them it's no other way to explain that, all right? So come down, all right? So verse 9 says, and a vision is what we just talked about. And a vision appeared to Paul in the night. There stood a man of Macedonia and prayed him, saying, come over into Macedonia and help us. And this is also beautiful. Let me get Job 33. All right, Job 33 and 14. For the Most High speaketh once, yea, twice, yet men perceiveth it not. In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falleth upon men, in slumberings upon the bed, then he openeth the ears of men and sealeth their instruction, that he may withdraw man from his purpose and hide pride from man. You see? And this is what's happening right now to Paul in the night, in a vision, okay? His instructions are being sealed. So it says, and a vision appeared to Paul in the night. You see, there stood a man of Macedonia and prayed him, saying, come over into Macedonia and help us. All right. And we just looked at the map. Okay. So Macedonia, all right, a region of Greece, extended land, a country bounded on the south by Thessaly and Epirus, on the east by Thrace and the Aegean Sea, on the west by Illyria, and on the north by Dardania and Moesia. Okay, so let's just pull it up real quick. We could probably use that, but maybe not. All right, here we go. Well, that's modern day. We see Bulgaria, North Macedonia, Albania, Serbia. I can't see that one. The blue one. See Turkey, Romania, Croatia, North Macedonia, Greece. All right. So these are the modern day maps. I was trying to find an ancient one, but you see where we are. All right. You see exactly what we're dealing with. Okay. So we don't have to hang on that too long. All right. And just go, pull up some maps on your own time. So it says, there stood in a man of Macedonia and prayed him, saying, come over into Macedonia and help us. And after he had seen the vision, immediately we endeavored to go into Macedonia, assuredly gathering that the Lord had called us for to preach the gospel unto them. See, he understood that the Spirit guided him. All right, now having an understanding of why the Spirit stopped them the first two times. All right, because they might have went into a direction further away from where they needed to go. So the Spirit stopped him twice from going to certain areas. And then the vision came, all right, in the night to Paul, all right, this man saying, come help us over here in Macedonia. And immediately, according to the Spirit, because he listened to the Spirit, all right, and not just think, man, I had a crazy dream last night, bro. No, he listened to the Spirit. He understood that that was of the Spirit. And immediately they went and traveled there. You see? So it says, therefore, loosing from Troas, all right, remember Troas was on the north west, all right, from Mysia, and then to the west of that, southwesterly a little bit, you have Troas. From Troas, there's the coast, and you have the Aegean Sea. He's sailing across, towards that way, all right, Greece, Macedonia, and all those areas there. So it says, therefore, loosing from Troas, we came with a straight course to Samothracia, and the next day to Neapolis. All right, so let's go into this. You get Samothracia, sign of rags. It says an island on the Aegean Sea, about 38 miles or 60 kilometers from the coast of Thrace at the mouth of the river Hebrus. Okay, so it says an island. So let's see if we can find it. There it is right there, but it's in the middle of the water. So let's see if we can get a bigger one. Okay, so here we go. Now look, there's Troas, right? Troas. So we're going northwest. There's Samothrace. So they stopped here, right, in an island, all right, in the Aegean Sea. Here's another one, modern day Turkey, Alexandria, Troas, Aegean Sea, and there's Samothracia right there, very small island, northwest, okay? And then you see right here, Neapolis, Philippi, Amphipolis, Thessalonica, Macedonia. Look, Berea, because the Berea is going to come up later, all right? Because he's going to go to Berea, all right? Because of the hard-headed Israelites, all right? He's going to have to leave out and go to Berea. Look, Greece, Delphi, Corinth, Athens, all right? These names are about to start to pop up. Man, I wish I had my other phone. This is definitely a good map, a very good map. I like this map because I keep maps on my other device. It's okay. It'll pop up again once when I'm using that other device, and I'll save it because I always keep those maps in there. All right. So now we know we know what we're looking at. That's this Thrace. Come on, bear with me. Samos, a sandy bluff, an island off that part of Asia Minor where Ionia touches Caria. All right, not going to get into that. All right, and so we already saw where Neapolis was. So we don't have to go back. So it says, therefore, loosing from Troas, we came with a straight course to Samothracia. So they went straight forward with no turning, straight northwestward to Samothracia. And the next day to Neapolis, all right, which Neapolis, if I'm correct, that was more so northeast, I believe. It was like northeast from Samothracia, all right? So it says, and from thence to Philippi, going west, which is the chief city of that part of Macedonia. Okay. So it says, and a colony, and we were in that city abiding certain days. So they were there, X amount of days. It says, and on the Sabbath, all right, very key, on the Sabbath day, we went out of the city by a riverside where prayer was wont to be made. So on the Sabbath day, they went out of the city because where were they last at? Let's go back. And from thence to Philippi, which is the chief city of that part of Macedonia and a colony, and we were in that city abiding certain days. So they went out of Philippi on the Sabbath day to an area where these Israelites of this city often gathered there for prayer. All right, so we know what we're talking about. So it says, and on the Sabbath, we went out of the city by a riverside where prayer was wont to be made, and we sat down and spake unto the women which resorted thither. All right, check my ticker. Okay, we're good. So first converts in Europe, it says, and a certain woman named Lydia, a seller of purple of the city of Thyatira, all right, which worshiped the Most High. So she was a faithful believer. Now, and she obviously had a lucrative business because if I'm correct, that purple came from like mussels or something like that, like some kind of mussels, and it was a dye that came from those sea creatures, all right, and it was obviously very expensive because there's not much that comes from that. You can do your research. Matter of fact, let's see what we can pull up. We pull in purple, sell of purple. See, she had a very lucrative business because it wasn't easy to come across those particular sea animals. All right, a female seller of purple or fabric dyed in purple. Because I believe it also has something to do with the Tyrian purple. All right, where you're talking about? Oh wait, there's that? Yeah, because Tyre, we hear about Tyre in the scriptures. There's a color called Tyrian purple. All right, all that has to do with what we're talking about. The purple fish, a species of shellfish or mussel. All right, a fabric colored with purple dye, a garment made from purple cloth. So when you go and research, we're not going to do it now. We could. I mean, it's a simple topic, but when you're going to do some research on that, right? This wasn't like a small thing, all right? It takes a lot of them to really create this dye. So I'm pretty sure this business that she had was very, very lucrative, all right? To have purple dye back then, all right? Very, very expensive, all right? And this is, because you can look up those things about the shellfish, the mussel, the Tyrian purple, and you do your own back research on that. As for now, we're going to go back into the scriptures, all right? It says a female traded in purple cloth, a seller of purple, all right? Fabric was dyed purple by using these shellfish, these mussels, okay? So her business was very lucrative business, all right? Because this was very expensive back then. So it says, a seller of purple of the city of Thyatira, which worshiped the Most High, heard us, all right? Whose heart the Lord opened, meaning what? Her mind, her understanding, all right? The Lord gave her wisdom, all right, to believe. So it says that she attended unto the things which were spoken of Paul. All right, so hearing Paul speak, all right, she because she was a believer and the Lord allowed her to be a believer because we know it's a gift, all right? So the Lord allowed her to be a believer, all right? Her mind was opened up to what was being taught. Verse 15 says, and when she was baptized in her household, she besought us, saying, if ye have judged me to be faithful to the Lord, come into my house and abide there. And she constrained us. It says, and it came to pass, as we went to prayer, a certain damsel possessed with a spirit of divination met us, which brought her masters much gain by soothsaying. All right. And this is very important as we get into this account here. All right. Matomai says, to act as a seer, deliver an oracle, prophesy divine. All right. But this was done by what? All right. Divination. Let's get divination. All right. This was done by, math, Python, magic, witchcraft and stuff. In Greek mythology, the name of the Pythian serpent or dragon that dwelt in the region of Pytho at the foot of Parnassus in Phocis, Phocis, however you want to pronounce it, and was said to have guarded the oracle at Delphi and been slain by Apollo. So this is going into what we talked about, where you get into these so-called pantheon of gods and things of that nature, okay? So you have to understand there were Israelites who were very heavily steeped into these things, given the history that they learned, which was not under the law. They were not of the circumcision, okay? So in Greek mythology, the name of the Pythian serpent or dragon, which you can pull that up. We're not going to get into it. We'll, just to show you that, what these people believed in were real, man. I'm not saying that the false gods and idols were weird, but I mean what they really believed in these things. All right, the Pythian serpent or Python was a giant serpent or dragon that guarded the oracle at Delphi. Okay, and if you want to read into that, you can read more on that. You can hit the wiki, and all this stuff there. Okay, movie style dragon. All right, Pythian serpent. Okay, it says in Greek mythology, Python was the serpent, sometimes represented as a medieval-style dragon living at the center of the earth, believed by the ancient Greeks to be at Delphi. So you see, there's a bunch of garbage, man, but this is what our people believed in, okay? This is what they believed in. This is how far away they were falling, okay? And it gets tough, too, all right, when you're dealing with these people as we move on, following, behind Paul and those that travel with them, all right? It's going to get real tough, man, okay? So it says a spirit of divination, all right? Now, going back, it says, and it came to pass as we went to prayer, a certain damsel possessed with a spirit of divination met us, which brought her masters much gain by soothsaying. So she was possessed all right, by using this witchcraft and sorcery and magic, whatever. You know, she basically had demons on her, and she made her masters a lot of money from her soothsaying and stuff like that. All right, possessed to have holdings and to have an example to hold. Okay, an example, own, or possess. All right, yeah, she was possessed by demons, man. Okay, doing her divination and her soothsaying. All right, and this was a lucrative business for these men by way of her soothsaying and things of that nature, dealing with, the left-hand side. So it says, the same followed Paul and us and cried, saying, these men are the servants of the Most High God, which shew unto us the way of salvation. And this did she many days, but Paul, being grieved, turned and said to the Spirit, all right, and you have to think about it. Now it says this many days, right? So it's not telling how many days. Every single day she's doing this as Paul and those brethren that were with him traveling around. She's doing this, and it doesn't specify how many hours of the day she did it. She could have been doing this for 4 hours straight every single day, or maybe longer. All right, just pestering them. And so Paul, all right, it says Paul, being grieved, turned and said to the Spirit, I command thee in the name of Hamashiach Yahushua to come out of her. And he came out the same hour. All right. So it says, and when her master saw that the hope of their gains was gone, because she probably started acting totally different. All right. Probably looking spaced out, like, where have I been? Well, what am I doing here? All right. Probably not understanding what the heck is going on, or because that demon left, right? Because when the demon takes over, a person is totally different from their normal self. So she probably had to take a minute to come to realize like where she was and what was going on. And then eventually she started acting different. And her masters were realizing that. No more soothsaying, all right? No more divination. Like, what's going on with this woman? All right. And when her master saw that the hope of their gains was gone, they caught Paul and Silas. All right. Basically, BAN. Okay. Okay. If you could think what I'm trying to say here, all right. This is what was happening right here. These BANs, okay. They were mad about, their wicked little business, okay. They their gains was gone. They caught Paul and Silas and drew them into the marketplace unto the rulers. Okay. So they were pissed off about how Paul had that demon come out of their cash cow, which was this woman being possessed, okay, to do soothsaying and divination and deal with the left hand side, all right, to make them money. And so they realized that. It was like, nah, man, he got to pay for that. You see? So they caught Paul and Silas and drew them into the marketplace unto the rulers and brought them to the magistrates, saying, these men, being Jews, do exceedingly trouble our city. All right. And this is just nonsense. Okay. But this is how wicked the Israelites were, man. And you see the same exact thing today, man. Nothing new under the sun. Jake only care about money. It ain't about helping the community. All right. You can't tell me how to get the bag. Y'all broke. You need to go and get a job. You need to do this. You need to do that. And ain't got no idea what they're saying. They're just basically spewing nonsense with nothing to substantiate what they're saying based off their emotions or not liking what they heard, right? Not liking the gospel, the truth, or whatever. But Yahushua said, know that if they hate you, it's because they hate me, all right? They hated me first. And that's what happens even today, man. Not everybody believes, man. Some people disagree with the gospel, but it goes to show you how much they hate Yahushua, they hate the word of truth, and ultimately they hate the Heavenly Father, man. You see? Which is why they come against, the men of the Lord. Excuse me. It says, and brought them to the magistrates, saying, these men, being Jews, do exceedingly trouble our city. And these magistrates were probably, more than likely, also Israelites, man. Commander of an army in the New Testament, a civic commander, a governor, the name of the highest magistrate in the municipia or colonies. They had the power of administering justice in the less important cases. There you go. Of civil magistrates. And you have the same thing today. All right. You got the judge, you got the DA, you got the magistrate, and all these different things in the courthouse, right? Look, check out number 3, though. It says captain of the temple, an example, the commander of the Levites who kept guard in and around the temple. Now, that's not what we're dealing with, but it's also very interesting there. So it says they brought them to the magistrates, saying, these men, being Jews, do exceedingly trouble our city and teach customs which are not lawful for us to receive, neither to observe, being Romans. Okay, the when in Rome, do as the Rome do Israelites. Okay, so they were basically butthurt over their business, right? And so they dragged Paul and Silas to the magistrates to seek to get them punished. Okay, and it was all over money, a business. Okay, it wasn't about the truth; it was about the business. And it says, they teach customs which are not lawful for us to receive, neither to observe, being Romans. So these are Israelites, okay, who just, you like today, you can't, bro, I don't know what you're talking about, man. Hey, the Bible got holes in it, all right? It got inconsistencies. I'm black. I'm Puerto Rican. I'm a Mexican. You see? It's no different from today, all right? Yeah, Israelites who are non-believers, all right, who only cared about the business, not the truth. And so that it's saying that Paul and Silas are teaching things that are not lawful for us to learn. But this is what's always said, man. You cannot convert into being an Israelite. You are born an Israelite, even the non-believers, okay? The so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans today, even those that don't believe, it's not going to stop you from being an Israelite because you're born an Israelite. It's nothing that you can change. You're born an Israelite, all right? And you can't convert into being an Israelite. You're born an Israelite by nationality. So you have Israelites who were Hellenized very deeply, obviously, all right, and didn't want to believe. And because of the expelling of that demon, all right, it stopped the money flow of their business. So they took Paul and Silas to the magistrates, all right, to seek punishment. Now we're going to stop right here, okay, and come back in the second session to end it off, just not to make it too long, all right, because we're already reaching an hour. So we're going to stop right here, come back with a second part, finish off the chapter. So Lord willing, you will edify. To next time, Yasrala, going to say shalom.